Hello and welcome to CLC Online. My name's David. I'm one of the pastors at St. Helens, and yes, we're on live. Um, Normally we do it every night, but it's been a bit of a crazy one this week and the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to explain a little bit about that before we start tonight. But if you're watching for the first time, welcome. I'd love for you to use the chat. We love the chat. I want to hear from you. We want to know who you are, where you're watching from, um, and so we connect together and we just have fun. So normally we're not on a Friday. We were on a Monday, and then we moved to a Wednesday. We're having some difficulties trying to find a free night at the moment to do this because things are a little bit crazy. We have got a conference coming on at CLC. If you're not aware, I've been working with a lady called Teresa Dedman, and she's from California, with the arts, creativity, and releasing people to be creative in the churches, in the marketplace, in work, in the communities. And so we kind of been working with her. So she's going to be coming over and doing a 3-day conference. And so most of our time at the moment is taken up just trying to get that sorted. We also have a Bible study that's going to be happening in-house at the CLC building on a Monday. So that's one of the reasons as well. We've changed the times. And so we're just trying to find a good night. Wednesday nights are quite difficult because we have prayer meeting at the church. We want people to be involved as much as we can in prayer and what's going on in church and stuff. So, and then Thursdays have been pretty difficult for me. But we're working, we'll find a night where we will all be on together. But if you're watching, let me know who you are, where you are. I see Miriam's on. Great to see you. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. If you're a regular watcher, you know that we've been working through the book of John. I'm currently on chapter 8. And normally I have Simone with me. Um, Again, because of the change of days, it's very difficult for Simone to come on as well on a new day like this. So we're trying to work that out as well. But hey, we're getting there. God is good, and we'll still come on, and we'll still may not be on a regular time, but we'll still be on. Um, but yeah, this is my dog that's just here. It is not a blanket. So if he starts moving around, he kind of loves to sleep on top of the sofa. So I am at home because I'm having to look after my kids. And so I'm normally at church as well, and the setup's completely different. But this is what we have to deal with sometimes, isn't it? Real life. So I'm going to be on for about half an hour. Don't want to be on too late. It's Friday night. Just want to know that a lot of people will be wanting to relax and just chill. But let's get ourselves ready for the weekend and just getting in a time of rest. There's a great story I'm going to be reading tonight. Just looking into that, and that's from chapter 8 of John. And as we begin to look chapter 8, it is good to understand why, if you look at different translations in the Bible, how the different translations or the different writers of the translations handle the verses 1 to 11 differently. You know, there's little doubt that Jesus' encounter with the sinful woman. So obviously, if you know the story, big backstory, what's going on is Jesus meets a sinful woman, well, classed as a sinful woman. The Pharisees bring this woman who's been in adultery, and so Jesus is kind of put against the wall, and they're trying to trick him. And so this encounter with the sinful woman is a genuine episode in Jesus' ministry, because we know that church leaders, right, referred to it as a fact from the beginning. However, the earliest manuscripts recovered today do not include this encounter, while the earlier manuscripts include these verses in different places. You might not, in many Bibles, these verses appear in different ways, and so no one. If we look at who Jesus was, and no one disputes the kindness of Jesus in this encounter, his behavior, the compassion toward this persecuted woman, and his clever conviction of her self-righteous accusers as well, serves as a noble model for Christians and non-Christians alike. In a dramatic scene, the religious leaders set a trap for Jesus while he is teaching in the temple courts. In verse 1 to 6, John records how they bring a woman to Jesus for judgment. So they're like, teacher, and they say this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law of Moses, the command for that was for them to be stoned, and so that's what they say in it. In the law of Moses, commanded us to stone such a woman. Now, what do you say? So they kind of like putting Jesus on the spot. And there's a couple of things about this story. The crowd knows adultery is a capital offense under Jewish law, for both the man and the woman involved. So the fact that this incident has happened, but it's an adultery offense for both the man and the woman, but yet the leaders have not brought the man, that before Jesus. They also know that the evidence required for judgment need at least 2 witnesses had to observe this crime in progress and give exactly the same testimony under examination, yet there was no witnesses. They were nowhere to be found. They don't mention, the Pharisees don't mention these witnesses. They don't mention the man. They just mention this woman. And so in practice, virtually no one was ever, well, as we know from history of the writings of the historians, no one was really executed for adultery because it was such a private and carefully guarded sin. It was one of them ones where no one really wanted to talk about it. No one really wanted to share or even witness it. So I mean, you had to have 2 witnesses. I don't think the witnesses would have stayed around, and definitely if it was a death sentence, the people involved wouldn't have really been open. I don't know what just happened then. Let's just see. Can you see me? Can you? Don't know what happened. Don't know. My laptop just suddenly stopped working and crashed a little bit there. I do apologise. Let me know if you can see me all right. Wow, that was weird. So, as I was saying, that the leaders anticipated Jesus' response, believing it would lead to his downfall. So they were trying to trap him because they want him dead, and they want an excuse. And so if Jesus says to them, you know, stone her, he will lose his reputation for mercy and kindness. And if he calls her for death, he breaks um, the Roman law providing any Jew from applying the death penalty. Um, so if he advocates for her pardon, the leaders will accuse him of breaking Mosaic law. So he was in a catch-22. No matter what option he went down, it was not going to be a good one. And so it's funny to see Jesus's answer. And so many people have spoken. You might see the YouTube videos of people speaking from the church about these verses and wondering what happened next. And so it says that, like, slightly Jesus stoops down and begins to write with his finger on the ground. So we don't know what he wrote. No one knows what he put in the ground or what he was doing. But some of the common theories include that he was kind of spending time with the Father. That was his moment he could just reflect. So he was just praying to the Father on his knees and just going, right, what can I say here? Or some people have said that it's giving her accusers time to think about their motives and responses. So maybe he's hoping that they will feel guilty, but then despicable behavior. But the other option was he writing? I'm having some issues online here tonight. Was one of the issues. Sorry, my laptop's going crazy here. Was one of the issues could he been writing the Old Testament, the Ten Commandments from the Old Testament, as he was doing, was he doing that? We never know. We don't know.